Welcome back to another video.
And in this one, we're putting this whole thing together. Alright guys, so here she is. It's freaking absolutely beautiful. I'm really scared about dropping this thing in. But the first thing we gotta do is basically put it in and mock up the motor mounts. That way, when we can weld them in, and that's the last thing we need before we send off the frame to powder coat. So let's get that done. So in this video, what we're gonna be doing is just bolting everything together. So we're gonna have to take this take the flex plate off and replace it with a flywheel. We're gonna have to lift this engine. We have all these new parts. We've got an AX15 right here, brand new. It's pretty sick. We got our rebuilt transfer case right here. That's gonna have to go in. We got our bell housing right here, brand new aluminum. We got our clutch flywheel, pressure plate, bolts for the flywheel. So yeah, the first thing we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to go shopping and get a bunch of this stuff we forgot about. Like we need a GM fork, I don't know what that's called. It engages the clutch. And so yeah, and then we also need the ball that the fork rests on. So yeah, hopefully when we come back, we were able to find all that stuff at AutoZone, because one of the reasons I chose the 350 was for its capability and easiness to acquire parts just by going to the parts store, because they're so common. Alright guys, so we got our engine lift plate, and it's only like 13 bucks, so really good deal. So what we'll do now is we'll take off the carburetor and we'll put the lift plate on. Alright, so the next thing we're going to be doing is we'll put the hook through here and we'll lift her up. Alright, so now we're just going to try to lift it up, hopefully without any major issues. Hey Jason, can you try to direct this thing? The dilemma now is that we're on the half ton, I think, and I want it to be at 1 ton because we're bolting the transmission and transfer case and headers and like AC stuff to this. So what we'll do now, I think, is figure out maybe salt bags, maybe
Crowbar these off. Crowbar these pieces off.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
First.
Is it center?
Yep.
So now what we're doing is we are putting on our flywheel bolts. You're gonna use blue Loctite, and then for us, because we're using ARP studs, I think we're torquing down to 85 foot-pounds. So let's get to it. There we go. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to our clutch. Alright, so now we're gonna install our pilot bearing. So you're gonna put the tapered side towards the transmission and this flat side towards the engine. So I'm just gonna tap it in. It's probably gonna give me some help. I just gotta make sure it's going in straight. Alright guys, we kinda done messed up because this pilot bearing is not the correct size as this. The problem is, like, post 1992 X15s have a 3/4 diameter on the input shaft. I didn't know that, so I got like a 15/32. I don't know, it doesn't matter. But I messed up, so what we're gonna do now is, because we need to get cracking on welding these motor mounts in, we're just gonna skip the clutch and flywheel install, or we have the flywheel on, which we can leave, and that's fine. We're just gonna skip the clutch and pressure plate install and stuff like that, and we're just gonna straight up bolt the transmission and transfer case to it. That way, because all we really need to figure out where to weld these motor mounts in is like the hunk of motor and drivetrain. That way we can align it so it lines up with where the shifter needs to go, and there's enough clearance for the radiator and the fan shroud and the steering box, all that stuff. So what we're gonna do now is we have to go get a pilot bearing removal tool, and now we're just gonna start bolting stuff up. All right, I got it out. I literally had to destroy it to get it out though. But I think the next thing we're gonna do is bolt the bell housing on. So that'll be easy. I had to drill this out to 5/8 and these all out to 1/2, just so this freaking stupid adapter will fit. But it fits, and this, at least our machine surface is nice and flush. So yeah, now we'll just put this on, and the next thing we'll do is bolt it all up to the end. All right, so now we're gonna mate them two together, so let's do it. Alright, so now what we're doing is we are removing these studs because our adapter kit requires that we use bolts. Alright, so now what we're doing is we're putting on our adapter plate so we can bolt this up to the transmission. Alright, so now we're putting this in. No, like this. Oh, more angle? Yeah. Dude, that's like, no way. Like this.
I don't believe it. It's gonna be a little, where? Right there?
Put a knot with no lock on. Just to get it on. Our seal might be messing it up too. I think we messed up our seal.
Okay, let's look at it.
Alright, well now we got it all together. We just gotta tighten these and get it all up. Alright, so here everything is all bolted up. So now we have this pile of parts, like the alternator kit that came with this engine, that we gotta put on it. I think the first thing we're gonna do is the headers. That'll be pretty fun. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put in the water pump.
Alright, we got our water pump pulley and our water pump on. Don't worry if their bolts are getting kind of close in the back, because that's for people if you don't have an electric fan. And next we'll be moving on to the AC.
Alright, so it's starting to get a lot uglier. I'm just doing quick little updates because you probably don't really care about how to install this alternator kit. But we got the AC compressor bracket on this tensioner, so I'm just gonna flash back whenever we get stuff done. Okay, so we got this on the harmonic balancer as well as all the AC stuff on the belt tensioner. So next thing we're gonna do is alternator bracket. Alright, so I don't know when the last time I recorded, but we have everything on. It was just a bunch of bolts, kind of a pain in the ass. But so now what we're gonna do is we have our wonderful motor mounts over here that Jason did a very good job stacking. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna bolt them up to the motor. Alright, so the last thing we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be tightening on our motor mounts in preparation to weld them on. We just gotta do the other side. Yeah, here she is, about to go in the Jeep. Thanks for watching. If you want to see this go in the Jeep, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for a future episode, which will be really soon. Yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day.